Hi, I'm Beth Bruce, literacy coach at Lake Orion Community Schools. And in this session, we are going to learn about a research-based intervention called an alphabet arc. In this session, we will talk about what an alphabet arc is, why you should incorporate it into your classroom instruction, and the how. We will talk about different activities and scaffolds to support your students. An alphabet arc is a research-based intervention, and you can use it as a tool to build your students' knowledge of letter sequence, letter sounds, letter knowledge, letter sequence. It's going to really promote the learning of the many skills surrounding letter ID, reading, and spelling. You guys, these are really easy to scaffold as students gain that automaticity in their letter recognition and their letter ordering skills. And there are several ways that we'll discuss in this presentation on how you can scaffold the instruction and provide a gradual release of responsibility. I know I mentioned that this is a research-based intervention, but it's important to note that according to research, knowledge of letter names and fluency of letter naming in kindergarten is one of the best predictors of later reading success. And that repeated practice, continually seeing those letters and sounds, is necessary. So it's really essential that we can give them this repeated practice even before they enter kindergarten. The alphabet arc is a really good way for children to have visual and multisensory support to practice blending, segmenting, and auditory processing. It also allows them to practice the sequence of the alphabet. So the skills that we will discuss are essential for reading and spelling. If a child isn't able to hear the sounds and words, they're going to find it very difficult to access and write texts. So the materials that you need are pretty simple, and we will be providing these materials for you. You will need a full alphabet arc, some alphabet letters. They do not need to be magnetic. And then a partial alphabet arc. And additionally, you will be receiving some alphabet desk strips, which can be used as another resource and another scaffold. So you want to begin with the most support. Choose an alphabet arc that has all of the letters outlined. This will provide students with a visual representation of the letter sequence, and it'll support matching as they begin to build the alphabet. As I mentioned, you want to provide gradual releases of support. So as your students become really familiar with the alphabet sequence, then you can use an anchor arc. So the one that will provide you has only the initial, middle, and final letters represented. This gradual release of support provides students the opportunity to pull from their memory the alphabet sequence. So here in this picture, you can see the student is putting out the anchor letters to begin, and then they continue sequencing the alphabet. So when using the full alphabet arc, you just set the alphabet arc on a flat surface, and then all of the letters underneath it, and then you have the child choose a letter, name it. For example, maybe they say P, and then they place it on the corresponding letter on the arc. And then you just continue doing this, repeating the activity while they continue to hopefully match all the letters. And then as an extension, and of course, depending on where the children are at or what time of year it is, you could have them name the letter and the corresponding sound. So here, we are going to remove some supports with gradual release. Here you'll use the alphabet strip that we've provided you, and then you have the students create the arc just in an open space, maybe on a table or on the floor. So students can still reference that alphabet to assist in sequencing, but the support of the letter matching and the anchor letters has been removed. And then eventually they can use the alphabet strip in the same way, just making a line of letters. So if you think about our alphabet, we know that the initial letter is A and then the final letter is Z, right? And then we have those two letters in the middle, M and N. And we can see this connection to work in a dictionary. We have the first half of the alphabet, A through M. The second half of the alphabet is N through Z. So students can anchor letters on their alphabet arcs before sequencing the remaining letters. So it acts like an anchor holds a ship in place. These anchor letters really help keep our alphabet in the correct sequence. If you're using this type of alphabet arc with your students with just the initial, the medial, and the final letters represented, you want to make sure that you introduce this concept to them. So this just shows you right here that you want to introduce the initial as A, the final is Z, and then the two letters in the middle are M and N. Sometimes you can give kids a mnemonic by saying it's mountain, because mountain, obviously begins with an M and ends with an N. And obviously all the letters between A and Z are called medial letters. One activity that you can do that really helps your students with understanding the concept of a letter is to discuss with them the idea of a letter that comes before and the letter that becomes after. So if you were to name a letter, you would have your students find that letter, so they could point to it on the alphabet arc or point to it on their letter strip. And then they can tell then they will tell you the letter before C is B, or the letter after C is D. So this really provides students with that oral language and that sentence structure practice. In addition, it really helps them with working on the concept of sequencing the alphabet. This is a game that's called Pull the Letter. So children will pull the letter that completes the sequence. So with this game, you would want to have your alphabet, your plastic letters laid out on a surface, and then you want to have I would just use index cards that would have a sequence of letters with one missing. And then this is just a quick game. Here they look at the missing letter card and then they quickly locate and they pull the letter that completes the sequence. We then state the complete sequence on the card and replace that missing letter, and then move to the next missing sequence card. And they really like making this into a game to see how quickly they can name and find the missing letter. So if you had a card, say, that had B and C missing and then a D, then you would show them the card, they would find the C, and then together with the student you would say, oh, right, B, C, D. You can use the full alphabet arc along with the alphabet song. So just simply place the alphabet arc and the set of letters on a flat surface, help the children sing the alphabet song while placing the letters onto the arc. And I have included a video with the alphabet song called Open Court Alphabet Song that you could use if you choose. So if you're using the alphabet arc that has just the initial and the medial and the final letters represented, you place the letter arc on a flat surface, set the letters along with it. Then what you do is you name the first letter. For example, A, have the child find it and place it on the arc. Then name the last letter Z, have the child find it and place it on the arc. Name the two middle letters, M and N, and then, of course, have them find it and place them on the arc. Then you begin to ask them the names of the other letters. Say the name, ask them where it should be placed, have the child find it, and place it on the arc. continue to prompt the child to sequence all of the remaining letters, reminding them to say it, find it, and place it. And as an extension, you can, of course, have the child name the letter and give the letter sound. So this activity is called Timed Alphabet Arc Match. And this would support fluency, letter fluency. And what you would do is you just place the full alphabet arc and the letters on a flat surface, set a timer for say 3 minutes. The child chooses a letter and matches it to the letter on the alphabet arc. And then they try to continue to complete the arc in 3 minutes or less. They can repeat this activity, attempting to beat their previous time or give them a shorter time to try to beat. But then the child picks up the letter one by one, states the letter name, returns it to their container. As an extension, you can have the child name the letter and the letter sound. You can increase the difficulty by using the partial alphabet arc to complete this activity as well. So this would be a more advanced activity, probably something that you would do closer to the end of the year, but this is where you would have your students build their own alphabet arc where you do not use the pre-made alphabet arc. So you just set the letters out on a flat surface, you name the first letter A, have the child find it, and then place it on their imaginary arc. Then you name the last letter Z, have the child find it and place it on their arc. Name the 2 middle letters, M and N, again, have them find it and place it on the arc. Ask the name of another letter, say the name, ask the child where it should be placed, and have them find it and place it on the imaginary arc. Prompt the child to continue sequencing the remaining letters, reminding them to say it, find it, place it on the shape of the arc. As an extension, of course, you can have them give the letter name and the letter sound. You can. This is what I would recommend doing this with a set of partners or a group of 4 students, and get them started, and then maybe they can continue doing this work independently. So this is similar to the activity before and after that I mentioned earlier when showing children the sequence on cards, but this is just having them use the alphabet arc. So you would basically complete the alphabet arc with them, and then you name a letter, you have them child find that letter, and then have them tell you the letter that becomes before and after that letter. And as an extension, of course, you can always, again, have them name the letter and the letter sound. This is a really fun activity called Missing Letters. So you basically just place the letter arc and the letters on a surface. The child chooses a letter, names it, again, places it on the arc, take turns until they match all the letters. Then you have the child close their eyes while you remove a letter. And then you have the child open their eyes and name the letter that is missing. This is really important to note. So if your students are struggling with the full alphabet, you can always begin with the letters that they already know and then gradually add in new ones. Or begin with the letters in their name and gradually add new ones to work on. And then obviously with the goal that eventually they are going to start to recognize more and more letters. So this work absolutely supports handwriting. It can really provide a way for you to layer handwriting practice into your daily activities. Students love if you give them dry erase markers and they can write right on their alphabet arcs. This is really one way to reinforce letter formation and handwriting work while also addressing letter sequencing. You can use the alphabet arc to practice writing the letters with those who already are ready to work on letter recognition and letter formation. So here are some tips and some ways that you can scaffold or extend your handwriting practice. You can have your students only work on those letters which you have really explicitly taught them the correct letter formation. You can have your students say the letter name and the sound, if taught, as they write the letter. You can have them work on sequencing of the alphabet. You can have them, if you've taught a few letters in a sequence, have them work on writing those letters in the sequence. I wouldn't recommend having them write the whole entire alphabet though in one sitting. Students can always trace the letters on a chart that is right there. That's because it's right there for them. And then you can add in small dots or stickers to help them identify where they start each letter when they write. Students can always find the letters in their names and practice writing their names using proper letter formation. So the last thing that we're going to talk about in this session is the idea of having your students build words. Again, this would be an end of the year activity or when children have full, complete letter sound knowledge. So once your students know most or all of their letter sounds, you can begin to have them build simple 2 to 3 letter words or CVC words as we call them. Make sure to use words that contain the sounds they are familiar with. So for example, using short vowels only. So have your students, once they've placed all the letters on their arc in the correct order while naming the letter and saying the sound, you can give your students a CVC word to build. Your child should push the correct letters down from the arc to make the word. After students have built the word, help them sound out the word letter by letter and then blend the word back together. So for example, you'd have them say cat, and then have your child replace the letters on the arc to build a new word. Please take a moment to scan this QR code with your phone or copy and paste this link into another browser and watch this video of an alphabet arc being completed in action. Hey, one more video. Watch this video. It's just about 5 minutes where Angela Griffith is going to share with you some more ideas on ways to use your alphabet arcs. So just some final thoughts. When you're meeting with your students, make sure that you're utilizing your time wisely. So that means always pulling up a partnership or a group of 4. We've given you enough materials that you can pull your students in a group of 4. And go slow to go fast. So obviously, like I mentioned, you always want to start out with maybe the letters that they know, letters in their name, or just maybe a few letters, but go slow so that by the end you can be doing these more advanced activities where you're timing them or having them build words or commenting on the letter before or the letter after, and which also means you want to start where they are. And if you guys come up with new ideas, please share them with me, and I can always add onto this presentation. And remember, I'm here to help. So if you have any questions or comments or want me to come into your classroom and support you with this work, or you just want to share pictures with me of your students loving their alphabet arcs, please do so. And most importantly, just have fun with it. And I hope that this turns out to be a great resource for you and your students.